Good morning, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order. If you could please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jake, if you could do roll call, please.
Keisha Johnner,
Here.
Jim Mueller,
Here.
Steve McCombs,
Here. Entertain a motion for today's agenda.
Move to approve today's agenda.
I'll support.
McCombs,
Aye.
Mueller,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye. On to item number 3, communications. Communications? If not, move on. Item number 4 is public comments. This is the portion of the agenda during which we can hear from the public about any item that is not on the agenda below. These could possibly become future topics for future agendas. Is there any public comments? Mr. Attorney, I appreciate you coming this morning.
Thank you. I just wanted to take this opportunity to introduce our new assistant county attorney, Jonathan Meiskens. He was a prosecutor in Clark County and he's joined our office, and we're very thankful to have him here. So just wanted to introduce him to everybody. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Pleasure and welcome, Jonathan. We appreciate you. So,
Yeah, thank you.
is there any other public comments? Anything online? Seeing that? Move on. Consent agenda. Entertain motion on today's consent agenda.
Move to approve today's consent agenda.
Second.
Mueller,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
On to business. Item number 1 is the proposed Marion County participation in the home-based Iowa program. Board, if you recall, we have discussed this maybe a couple different times, probably over the last year. And Robert, I believe, is online with us this morning. The last time we spoke about this, there were still some questions. And so Robert and I have spoke back and forth, and we felt that it was important that he could answer any questions we had and seeing where we're at as a board. So Robert, appreciate you being online, and thank you for participating this morning. Can you just give us a little bit an overview for those that maybe don't know about the home-based Iowa program and what that does, if you could, please?
Sure, yeah. So I'm Robert Hagee. I'm the Home Base Iowa program manager. And so really Home Base Iowa started in 2014 with the primary goal of trying to get more veterans, either to come back to Iowa after their service or, trying to get veterans that maybe have never been to Iowa. So, in 2014, we had a couple wars going on. So really the goal was trying to attract some veterans that maybe enlisted, maybe did 4 years, but then tried to get them to really see the value in moving to Iowa. And so we started really coming up with a lot of incentives, statewide incentives. So we did the $5,000 first-time home buyer under the Home Base Iowa Act. If you're retiring out of the military, there is no taxes on your pension. So that was all because of the Home Base Iowa Act in 2014. If you're service connected 100%, you do not pay any property taxes in the state of Iowa. But then there's also local incentives. So right now we have 85 counties of 99 that have developed incentive packages. Historically, it was, financial incentives, and whether it's like relocation expenses for a veteran moving to Iowa, maybe help with 1 or 2 nights stay if they had a job interview at certain hotel stays, or there's a variety of different ways. But now it's more, you don't have to necessarily have a financial backing to it. If there's other ways, like for instance, like Marion County, you're already doing great things, especially from like an employer level. So we have like the Skill Bridge program, which gets active duty service members. They could actually be working with companies, still being paid full time through the military if these companies have established Skill Bridge programs. So, for instance, Vermeer, they've established one. They established this over a year ago. They're one of our initial companies. They're a big supporter of the Skill Bridge program, veterans. So it's more highlighting that. So from like an incentive standpoint, it doesn't have to be a financial incentives are nice, but there's other ways to highlight what your county may already be doing and likely already is. So highlighting the companies. So what's something that valuable that you know not only the veteran, but maybe the spouse, the children want to know about your county that we could highlight on the website. We have a brand new website, and we just want to be able to highlight what your county is already doing, the resources available. So that way, if there's a veteran that's interested, they want to move to Marion County, they want to know about the employers, the resources, what you guys are doing, that there's a primary point of contact, and likely it's maybe the county VSO or whoever it's going to be that could really answer those questions. Be like, hey, we're interested in moving back to Marion County. What resources or what are some things to know? Maybe they've never been to Marion County. What are some things to know? So we just want to be able to highlight what your county is already doing. And so we have 85 of 99 counties. Our goal is to get all 99 counties this year. Of that, there's 7 counties of those 14 remaining, have already signed a resolution. So really that's the start, is passing a resolution from the board. And then I could work with you guys on, the incentive package. Again, if you don't have, certain counties may have, financial restraints, we could work with you on non-financial incentives that maybe some things you're already doing. Because I know I looked and there's some things that you guys, as a county level, are already doing to support veterans. So it's just being able to highlight that from a county level. Um, yeah, so I'm definitely available to answer any questions. I know sounds like you've been contacted a few different times, um, but we'd love to really just get this, get you highlighted, so we could, because we have a brand new website, just being able to highlight your county.
Appreciate that, Robert. Got a question for you. Since this is an Iowa Works program, is there anything federally if you get all 99 counties to do it?
No, we don't get any sort of federal. I mean, on my standpoint, I would just love to be able to highlight, the work that I know every county is doing something, and I know there's resources available in every county, and there's veterans that may be interested in moving to Marion. I know for Marion County, I just want to be able to highlight there are a lot of great employers manufacturing wise that are home base Iowa employers. So I just want to be able to highlight that for Marion County, that's the biggest, I think, the amount of employers that are in Marion County. I do think it's it'd be great to highlight that. But as far as, I don't get any sort of federal,
Know that federal government was incentivizing,
no,
something for Iowa to be all 99 counties or.
no, this is a state program, so there's no,
Okay.
yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit about the signage. I think one of the questions the last meeting was cost. What do the signs cost? Which you kind of told us they're roughly $83 each. Is that correct still?
Yeah, well, that was the last quote we got from, I know, because Dallas County is coming on board. That was a quote we got from them. I'm assuming it'd be from the DOT side. I'm assuming it'd be like the same price. I don't think they would, change the price per county. So yeah, you would just be covering the cost, wherever you would want those signage posted, typically on county roads. But that's totally up to you, however many you want at that point. But you would cover that cost.
Well, I think we, at the county level, I mean, we have a lot of county roads coming in, so, if I'm looking at it personally from my standpoint, I would prefer it to be on just the DOT, roads that will be coming in, but I'm gonna let the board ask you questions,
Yeah.
but, we've had questions in the past, so.
Okay.
Well, I guess my question is, have you been in contact with our SO officer as far as, what he can do to help facilitate this and, I'm a little confused on the signs, what makes the difference with the sign out there, if you look at the program? I'm a little confused on that.
You're talking about our veterans, the
Yeah.
veterans, okay, yep. So he wanted to know if you've reached out to our, Rob, it's our veterans commissioner, and spoke with him about this, and, I mean, do you guys work together, I guess, that's probably something that.
Yeah, I spoke, what, yeah, what is his name?
Oh, yeah, Rob Amstrad.
I do think, yeah, I spoke with him, and I think that's how I got connected, through here. But yeah, he'd definitely be a big, somebody we definitely want to connect with. And I could definitely reach out to him again. He's definitely an important piece of this because he'd likely be that primary point of contact for veterans. Because that's another thing is, once you get highlighted, there are going to be veterans with questions, and I think that'd be another great opportunity for the county VSO or the commissioner to be able to connect with those veterans as well. But in terms, yeah, go ahead.
Point, a lot of times, at our level, it is wise that you work with our veterans commission because they are the ones that, this would be a program that he would be promoting. I'm assuming since the state mandates that they're all in 99 counties also. Does the Iowa Works program not work with them consistently?
No, we definitely do. Like on our level, that I mean, typically for the counties that are onboarded, it is those county VSOs that are going to be that point of contact. So we definitely work with them, um, and partner as much as possible.
Okay.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out what the advantage is. Is it a wider exposure?
I mean, there's definitely that statewide. I mean, having your county, you know, as a not just the county level, but the statewide incentives that are available. So just being able to highlight that and a lot of these, we talk with a lot of veterans and they still don't know about the statewide incentives. So it's being able to recognize, a lot of these first-time homebuyers that are getting out of the military, they're not aware of these statewide incentives that are available to them. So this is just being able to recognize that, and they're missing out on that $5,000 first time home buyer credit by not, not being aware of it.
The question was asked, I don't know if you could see it on the chat, but it was, how do those private businesses get, signed up? If this is something that we were to approve, and I know, this business would be, so I know some of the cities have it already, but how do, like Pellet already currently has the home-based program. How do
Correct.
businesses get signed up to be?
So that's actually what I used to do before I took the home base. So I was the local veterans employment representative. So basically on the business side, we developed back in 2014, it seemed like any company, if they wanted to be a home base Iowa company, they were like, yep, we could help you. They said they were veteran friendly, but then the problem there was every company, that's if you ask, hey, are you veteran friendly? No company is going to say no. So we wanted to make it. So 2 years ago, we kind of restarted this. And we're like, hey, we need to come up with some requirements for these businesses. Not to make it difficult on them, but a lot of them just don't know. Obviously they say they're veteran friendly, but what does that actually mean? So we developed kind of a plan. They do have to attend a class. So they've all right now we have over 260 home base Iowa employers. They've attended a class. They've met requirements. So like one of them is having a skill bridge opportunity available. So that's where Vermeer met that. But there's other requirements. So they attend a class it's the first Friday of every month at 9 a.m. For all new businesses. We go over the requirements. And then once they meet those, we actually come out and we present them a certificate really highlight their business. And we put it out on social media and highlight the business and what they're doing and kind of the, the job opportunities that are available. So we've developed kind of a nice process. Um, and I'd be happy to share that kind of with you. But yeah, for employers, that's what they have to do. They have to follow, attend a class, and then we go over what that, the requirements are for those businesses.
Is it just one class or is it multiple?
They only have to attend one to understand what the process is. But we do also have like quarterly meetings to go over any updates. But yeah.
No, Rob's on board with it, I don't have a problem with it. The question is, if we decide to go with signs, who coordinates the placement of those signs? Is that on us?
So you develop where you want the signs to be. So it's totally up to you. And then I basically facilitate I once you have that kind of a map of like, hey, here's where we want our signs to be, then I share that out with the DOT and the traffic tech, and they give you their recommendation. They're like, hey, you should have it here, or maybe this might be better. And then once you guys come to an agreement, then they work on installing the signs, getting them ordered through the DOT sign shop, and they get them installed. And then we come out and present you your recognition of becoming a designated home-based Iowa employer. If you want, we could also do um, a community event, whether that be a career fair, and we could help facilitate that, or we could present it to you at a local board meeting. So it's really as far as that presentation, whatever suits you the best.
That was my question. You will, if we decide to sign placement, you will coordinate that with the DOT.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Jim, do you have any questions?
I really don't have any questions other than I just want to voice my support. I was a part of the city of Pella back several years ago when they became part of the Home Base Iowa. So I was a supporter of it then, and I'm a supporter of it now. I think it's a great program. And I'm actually a little surprised that the county hasn't participated in it up to this point, but I'm 100% behind it and think the sooner we can get it done, the better off we are.
Okay. All right, Robert, I think the next steps for us is, I know that you had sent over a resolution template type, system, to us before. If what I'm hearing is that the board is supportive of that, I think that the next step would be to do a resolution for the next meeting. And maybe, I have that, and maybe between, our auditor and our county attorney, maybe they can review and make sure that we're good. So that we could proceed there. I do think, board, we need to think about sign placement. I am leaning more towards having the DOT handle it and doing the state roads. And just, looking at more like 592.14, Highway 14.
Well, I'm thinking that it's two separate issues, sign placement plus the resolution is one thing, sign placement is another.
And we can discuss that at the next meeting, so just be thinking on that, but I hear the support, so. Robert, we will have that resolution on for next meeting, and go from there. If you would like, you're more than happy to, I can send you the link again, so that you can be present if you would like.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, I appreciate you taking the time to visit with us about this and answering our questions. If there are no further questions, I'll entertain a motion to close the session.
Thank you, Robert.
All right. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Move discussion.
Or
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Mueller,
aye.
Thank you. Item number 2 is appointment to City of Pella Board of Adjustments, Marion County Representative, Corey Westra. His term would be ending in 1/1/28. Board, Corey is going to be looking at moving, into the 1 mile, extraterritorial jurisdiction for Marion County. And so the city of Pella had reached out and wanting to know if it would be okay if he filled that spot. I have no problems with this, but I wanted to make sure, what had any thoughts.
No, I'm in favor.
Alright, Jim?
I have no issues with it.
Okay, alright. So in turn, I would entertain a motion to appoint, Corey Restro, to, being Marion County's representative, Public Board of Adjustments.
So moved.
I'll support.
McCombs,
Aye.
Mueller,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye. Item number 3 is resolution 2026-51. This resolution is approving amended city county planning and zoning agreement between Marion County and the city of Pella. Board, Missy has our planning and zoning director has been working with the city of our county attorney, and we're grateful for reviewing this. And I have also been working with her on this. And I do think that there is some adjustments that have been made, but I'll let her just do some highlights.
Yes, there was basically, so the area did not change, the map as known as Exhibit A did not change. I'm just gonna go over the 3 highlighted changes. Parcels or subdivisions lying primarily 50.5% of area or greater within the 1 mile of the extraterritorial area shall be considered entirely within the extraterritorial area. Parcels or subdivisions lying primarily not within that 50.5% within that 1 mile will be considered outside the extraterritorial or county jurisdiction. And the other significant change is that parcels subject to city jurisdiction within the 1 mile, which are zoned A1, shall require a minimum lot size of 3 acres, which is consistent with the county's minimum lot size area, instead of the city's 10 acre minimum A1 zoning.
No, I appreciate that. See, I think there were some questions when it came to people not understanding what that 1 mile means, and then getting confused whether it's 3 acres, 10 acres, and so. I do think this cleans this up. I am grateful for the city of Pella for working with us on this, and I do think this makes sense. So I'm supportive of
Less
this.
confusion.
Yeah. And I also think the 50.5 also gives us that a clearer being able to view that and say, okay, whose jurisdiction is it? So, yeah. If there, I don't know, Jim, if you have any questions, if not, entertain a motion for resolution 2026.
I have no questions. I move to approve resolution 2026-51.
Second.
I would add that, and this is another thing that sometimes people get confused. This is a map. The 1 mile stays as a static 1 mile unless there is an amendment to it. So it doesn't, if there's an annexation, it doesn't automatically bump out. This map does not change unless there's an amendment to 2080.
Great, thank you. Okay, we have a motion and support. Jake?
Mueller,
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
See.
See.
Item number 4 is Marion County Grounds Special Event Application Freedom for Youth back to Program Bash 9326. This is in your packet. I don't know that Angie is with us unless she's online. Facilities, Christmas to be, do you have any concerns, questions? I did see. We just need to make sure that the employees know that they're wanting some parking space.
Yeah, for anything we do during the week, we just have to make sure we send out an email and let employees know they need to be removed from the parking lot prior to that. The only thing that I have is we don't have access during the day to any electricity on the east side without turning the exterior lights on. So I've already spoken with them. They understand the only power we have externally at the courthouse is on the gazebo during daylight hours. And they are aware of that. So other than that, I have no issues.
Okay, and they said they were requesting sponsor and advertising signage.
I have no issue with that either. They told me where they were gonna do it. It's gonna be literally on the east side. It'll be east of the cannon. So I'm perfectly fine.
Put some in the ground and then we have, so, okay,
This is in September.
yeah, she's planning ahead, so, and we are thankful for planning ahead, so we appreciate that. I have no issues with this. Or if you have any questions.
Chris, is okay with it? I'm okay with it.
Entertain a
I
motion.
have no issues.
Have a motion to approve.
And you're
He said he has no issues.
second.
No, you need a motion. Have you got a motion?
I move that we approve the special ground, the county ground special event application.
I'll support.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Mueller,
Aye.
Item number 5 is resolution 2026-58, approval of suspension of the 2026-2027 taxes. Parcel number located, parcel number is listed. Treasurer Michaela, thank you for coming.
Good morning.
It's something we've done for the last 8 years, I think, that I have served on this board.
Well, and longer than that. This is an annual resolution that the treasurer brings to the board. This particular parcel has actually been under property tax suspension since 2003 was the first approval. Suspended taxes is something that must be brought to the board per code chapter 4.27.9 to be approved annually. The treasurer does take the initiative to reach out to the Department of Health and Human Services to make certain that the individual does continue to qualify every year. They did respond that she does qualify again this year. So the request is that the board approve her request for property tax suspension. I think the most important thing that I like to note every year, both for the board and for the public, is that property tax suspension is not forgiveness of taxes. It just means that your taxes are suspended. You do not have to pay them until that suspension is lifted, which could occur if someone no longer qualifies, number one, or if the property is transferred or sold at some point in the future.
No, I appreciate that, Michaela, and I want to make sure that the constituents know that ultimately these will be paid, but it's.
Correct. Suspended property taxes are not an easy out of property taxes.
All right, board, do you have any questions? As you see in your packet, this is something that the state obviously has to approve, and they have approved, so.
Michaela, I just have a real quick question. When that is unsuspended and that full property tax then becomes due, is there a payment plan that goes on? If that's been going on for several years, I would suspect that tax balance will be rather significant when it's finally released from the suspension.
You are correct. Yes. What does happen is that the property is sold or transferred, and those proceeds then are used to pay off the property taxes. I've not been involved in a situation where an individual no longer qualifies. I know other counties have, but I've not personally been part of that process.
I'm assuming the property would not be released, so they were all paid.
Right, that would continue to be a lien against the property.
Okay. Any other questions? No, entertain a motion for resolution 2026-58.
I move to approve resolution 2026-58.
I'll support.
McCombs,
Aye.
Mueller,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye. Item number 6 is resolution 2026-59. Thank you, Michaela. That's approval of the Marion County Safety Committee written program, the welding, cutting, and brazing. Safety Committee has submitted this to us. This is a formality and situation of similar to what we had to do. What was the last one? You said that we just did?
Silica
Silica.
and
These are all things that the safety committee is wanting to make sure that we're staying on, and that we have these resolutions. This also helps when it comes to insurance premiums and things like that. As we all know, that when it comes to OSHA, you gotta make sure you have the requirements and their amendments. So this is, yeah. I don't know if the board has any questions. Steve, this would be up your alley. Do you have any questions regarding this program?
We're jumping through the hoops.
Yes, we are jumping through the hoops here, but yeah, no, I'm assuming that if there is no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve resolution 2026-59.
I'll support.
Mueller,
Aye.
Johnner, McCombs,
Item number 7 is the county attorney, is the Iowa Bar Association 250th anniversary flag celebration flag display.
Thank you. The Iowa Bar Association this year is doing something to commemorate our 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And they have sent out flags to, and I'll show you the flag.
Oh, that's okay.
The hope of the Bar Association is to have all counties display this flag on Law Day, which I unfortunately didn't know about on May 1st, and then over the 4th of July as well. And so I've discussed this with Chris, and he has agreed with the board's approval to hang this on the courthouse grounds, maybe in the rotunda of the courthouse, to commemorate the rule of law in our country and the importance it's played. I'm sure all of you probably thinking of lawyer jokes right now, and wouldn't it be just like a lawyer to get up here and celebrate lawyers? So
No, you're good. I it's a beautiful flag.
it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's my ask, is that this flag be displayed on the courthouse grounds.
Okay, all right. Chris, you're good with that?
100%.
Do we, I know when I had spoke with Jared a little bit about it, is there any, what's your thoughts on, do we, do this, and do we do a regular flag, or we have the flag within on the first floor? Is this something that you would want to do actually in the rotunda, and you let it hang down? Yeah.
Yeah, my thought was gonna be, I was just gonna actually wire it up from first floor rotunda. We'll probably bring it down so it stays, the bottom of the flag stays at least 9 feet off the ground, so people aren't messing with it. And then my thought was, we'll take one of our newer American flags and actually post it next to it. And we can have them vertically hanging, probably east to west.
Okay, all right, great. No, I appreciate that. I think that would be very cool. And I think that when it comes to 250th, I think that's a great representation. So I have no problem with that.
I have no problem.
Jim, your thoughts?
I'm perfectly fine with that.
No.
Thank you, board.
No, thank you, Jared, for bringing that to us. You're very helpful, and yeah, entertain a motion to the approval of displaying the 250th anniversary.
So moved.
Johnner, McCombs, Mueller,
Aye.
Item number 8 is resolution 2026-48. This is the Iowa Department of Transportation to deal with Marion County construction 5-year program, 27 through 31.
Yeah, it's just side note, I am grateful for Jared and his staff, and they do need celebrated, so.
We are very blessed.
That's not a
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah, that is true. You're very blessed. Good thing. So.
Okay, so, yeah, before you use our annual approval of the construction 5-year program per Iowa code, we have prepared this in accordance with new code coming into play last year, where the Iowa DOT reviews it first, so we have their approval. Now it comes to you. If you recall, last meeting I made note that this was pulled off of the last board agenda because we received a federal grant for one of the projects in the 5-year program. However, it was not awarded at the full amount. However, due to the timing of that grant, it was recommended by the Iowa DOT Local Systems Office for, if we had not had formal approval of our construction 5-year program, to get those amendments of funding done ahead of time. That way we didn't have to go through a formal amendment post board approval. So that was the delay in presenting this to you. So I'll just give you a little bit of summary of the entire 5-year program, and I'll touch on the year one or the allocation year projects. And then if you have questions about any of the projects in years 2 through 5, we can surely discuss those, which I do want to highlight a few of them. So kind of high level, throughout the 5-year program, you'll see a total of nearly $42 million in project and program funding. 23.7 million of that is grant funding from outside sources. So these are not funds, or the 23.7 will be funds that we do not have or get in a formula allocation from state, federal, or local sources. For your reference, we get $1.5 million per year allocated to our farm to market fund, 467,000 and change for federal aid road funding, and 413,000 for federal aid bridge funding. Typically, we are, so in the 5-year program, this has varied a lot. Post 10-cent fuel tax increase in 2016, we programmed nearly $1 million in local construction projects from our secondary road fund. Due to inflation and outpacing revenues, we've dialed back in local construction to keep up with maintenance, and then maintenance is dialed back as we've discussed in the past. So right now in our 5-year program, we are averaging $560,000 annually in local secondary road fund dollars for construction projects. That does not include maintenance projects, which we talked about during my budget session. Maintenance projects being crack sealing, patching, basically anything less than our typical asphalt overlay. Even seal coating is considered maintenance. In the 5-year program, we also include $3.6 million, or I am including $3.6 million of somewhat speculative local option sales tax funding for projects, because you have yet to approve those projects. Actually, you've approved $1 million of that 3.6 million. So the 2.6 million is speculative on my behalf for use of secondary local option sales tax for secondary road projects. The farm to market account, like I said, it gets $1.5 million per year, and throughout the 5-year program, we're about 50-50 borrowed ahead versus accumulated funds. So it ranges from 1.25 years borrowed ahead to 1.5 years accumulated funds. And that's kind of my goal, is to hover around 0. We do have restrictions, and those often change depending on what all 99 counties are doing and what the statewide balance of farm to market funds are, how much we can borrow ahead and how much we can accumulate. So we are restricted in that. I believe it's 4 years right now borrowed ahead. And that's really not a situation we want to be in my opinion. So we can hover around kind of that break-even mark and not be too far borrowed ahead, unless we expend a project and we do get quarterly allocations throughout the year. And so we're constantly monitoring that, and we get quarterly reports from the Iowa DOT and any new restriction updates and whatnot. And they're pretty good about giving us a heads up and monitoring that. That way there's no restrictions changing when you're anticipating a letting, an upcoming project that might be a large letting that would hurt your balance. Similarly, with the federal aid funding, that's managed through Iowa DOT local systems and Office of Finance, and they're looking at those balances and borrow ahead restrictions and whatnot as well for SDBG and HBP. For the SDBG, so this is the federal aid road funding. We are in the 5-year program about 50-50 throughout the year, throughout the 5 years, whether we're borrowed ahead or have an accumulated balance. And that ranges from borrowed ahead to about 1.5 years accumulated. We, in my 5-year program is the project that we just got a grant for. Even with that, we'll have to expend, even with the grant, we'll still have to expend about 30% of that project on, with our HBP allocated funds. So that will be an eligible match. However, we're not spending 100% of that project out of our allocated funds, so that's a good thing to receive the grant. But beyond that, we're using 30%, funding 30% for that bridge, but we're still only able to do in our 5-year program with our federal aid allocation.
Not because of cost, you mean, or just because of?
Yeah, and those are not large bridges by any means. For example, the Flagler Bridge, we were bumping up against our max allocation, and we actually had to, because of some additional stimulus dollars that came into HVP, we had to go ahead and let another bridge because we were trying to keep a big balance before we let the project for Flagler, because then we were going to go the opposite way and be maxed out on our borrow ahead. So we just don't have a lot of dollars there, and if we want to try to utilize as much of that federal money on a project, then we have to save and we have to borrow ahead typically. So even our typical $1.2 million standard slab bridge, which is fairly typical in Marion County, you know, at $400,000 a year, we've got to save at least 3 years to do that. And for FCBG road projects, we only have one project program currently in the 5-year program because we just did one last fiscal year. And so we are currently borrowed ahead there. Any questions on the funding, high level part of the funding? Otherwise I'll start. We have any of the maps in there?
Which year do you want?
Let's go to 27.
I just want to ask a quick question, Tyler, in the borrow ahead, you said we're like year 4 up, borrowing up next to our max. How do we resolve that? Is there any going to be any resolving for the future?
Borrowing up against our max?
Yeah, or so you said borrow ahead, year 4, and then they have 5. I mean, I don't know that I always understand your world. And so, but what in my mind, I'm thinking, well, you're pushing that to the limit, and then how do you resolve that and get back to?
We don't expend any funds, is how we recoup our balance.
Right.
And but we're borrowing against other counties' unspent dollars is what we're doing. So statewide, at the Iowa DOT, they're holding the entire balance of federal dollars, and that is not going in debt. We're just borrowing against future unspent dollar, you know, a project that another county might be accumulating on. We're spending it now because they're waiting and accumulating their dollars.
But when I'm sitting here looking at this and I'm going, we know that the amount of dollars in which you have is limited. And inflation projects, I mean, it's gonna get harder and harder, right? So, I mean, when you talk about the amount of projects that you just discussed and you're going to be showing, I mean, you know, I just see at some point, it's just gonna become tighter and tighter. Am I looking at that wrong, or because of the cost of projects?
Right.
I mean, is the allocations gonna get bigger? I mean,
because in my 13 years, the federal allocations, they haven't changed by more than 10% over the entire 13 years that I've been here.
And so let's talk about
They're fairly
what
static.
do you think inflation has risen from then in the 13 years? For
projects? For road projects, I mean, we're at 75% on a lot of things. I mean, we saw certain materials double in the last 5 years.
So the challenges, and again, you have done for us, just as you know, you had just spoke about Jared, and we're blessed, but we're blessed to be able, because you have been constantly looking at that and trying to reconfigure of how you can get the best,
Yeah,
bang for your buck, type of thing. It's just like, where can I stretch this dollar to be able to make sure? And then whether that's in reconfigurations of what projects you're doing or employees are doing,
and our federal dollars are really not guaranteed on anything more than typically 5 years when there's a federal transportation bill. You've heard me talk in the past about the FAST Act. Right now, we're in the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which expires soon. Will they extend it? We don't know, but our allocation formulas change typically every 5 to 6 years. A lot of times they get extended by a year, but even those allocated funds are only guaranteed for a certain time, and those funds aren't constitutionally, to an extent, like secondary road funding is constitutionally protected here in Iowa. So there's uncertainty there. Basically what I'm saying is the federal gas tax does not automatically go towards these federal allocated formula funds.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler, for Keisha's sake. Because these projects are in the 5-year construction plan. Doesn't necessarily mean that they'll happen. We have to have these plans so we can be in the allocation game.
Yes.
I'm
And
no, I appreciate that, yeah.
And the struggle there, Steve, is we're not allowed to program more than we have allocation for.
Right.
So it's hard to show the need. So a lot of the grant funding I have is speculative.
Right.
And I'm trying to apply for grants, not only because we want to use those dollars instead of allocated funds, because it just allows us to do more, but also to help us show the need.
I don't know, suggesting that the need is not there, it's just that we have to show it in order to.
Right.
Go ahead, sorry.
So FY27 is the upcoming year. So this is the upcoming program year. These are the most solidified projects that we have. Many of these have either let already or one is starting tomorrow even. I'll highlight these projects kind of individually and what funding we're using for those, and then high level we'll go through years 2 through 5. So the Knoxville area pavement rehabilitation project, you've obviously heard me talk about that a number of times in recent meetings. That project is anticipated to start tomorrow on South Attica Road. Dakota Street Bridge Replacement Project. So that was a project that was delayed due to the Mile Bridge being shut down, and we were utilizing that road and bridge for a haul route for the DOT's projects on Highway 14, as well as a detour for the Painted Rock subdivision and a few other residents in the area. So that project is scheduled for the upcoming fiscal year for bridge replacement. That poses some challenges, not ones that we're not unfamiliar with, but because it's down in the backwater of like Red Rock, there are just a few design challenges there to work through, but again, not ones that we're not unfamiliar with because we have many of those types of bridges around Marion County. We also have PCC bridge approaches, T17 and T25. You've also heard me talk about those. That project is currently out for letting. We'll have the letting here upcoming in May. The other major project for the year is T14 pavement improvements. So this is T14 from Elm Street in Pella. So this will be a joint project if they can come up with the funding with Pella. So Elm Street in Pella, around the Pella concrete area and what's Tri-County Vet Clinic areas where Marion County jurisdiction takes over. And then we will take that clear to the Jasper County line. This is one of our few full depth asphalt roads. It is way behind on way over its useful life, but doing well, all things considered. So we anticipate these pavement improvements lasting longer than our normal overlay project because of the kind of the perpetual pavement structure that we have there with the full depth asphalt. That will also include bridge approach replacement on the Thunder Creek and Skunk River bridges along that corridor, which are the only two bridges along the corridor. So in the 5-year program, you may see 2 projects listed for that. That is because of the jurisdictional split. Our program that we use to program projects does not allow me to do 2 jurisdictions without making it 2 separate projects. However, it will not be let that way. It will be one project come project development time. And then lastly, T17 bridge deck overlay. So again, this is a major project on a major corridor. The project is kind of behind Jim's screen there, but it's on T17 north of on over English Creek. Again, this project we're fitting it between Highway 14 projects. So we had tried to do it in prior years, but with the mile-long bridge construction and then the subsequent reconstruction of Highway 14 upcoming in years 28 and 29, we have to squeeze this in calendar year 27. So unfortunately, we're just flip-flopping major projects around state and county major corridors in Marion County. So we will try to get that done in 2027 ahead of the closure of 14, which would detour onto Highway T17. So that is it for our upcoming construction season in fiscal year 2027, with the majority of the major projects happening in calendar year 2027, but being let in fiscal year 27. I would like to highlight some projects, particularly in years 2 through 5, and then take any questions on anything else you see in there. S45 grant in 28, that's the grant I talked about that we already received. And so that, again, largely is going to be grant funded, which helps that HBP account, that federal aid bridge account. There is also a project for G76 corridor. We are eligible for a grant and will apply for it. We're kind of running out of time based off crash history to be eligible for that. And you'll see G76 shoulder widening and curves in a couple of fiscal years, but all that is grant dependent. So we will apply for that grant in the upcoming year to receive that funding, but then multiple projects kind of hinge off of receiving that grant. The largest project in our 5-year program is roughly $15 million on the T17 corridor. So that's T17 from within Knoxville, 4th Street in Knoxville to and including some of Pella's corporate or some of Pella's jurisdiction on Highway T17 and G28. So that entire 10.5 mile corridor from Knoxville to Pella is included with a federal grant as part of an application that was submitted in February. We anticipate hearing here in the next couple of months, by the end of June, whether we receive that grant. Out of that $15 million, we only have roughly $1.2 million of local match from farm to market. But we also have a couple of state grants that we would be applying for to help bring our local match down to around $500,000 of farm to market rather than 1.2 million.
Tyler, quick question on T17 because of the rerouting, whether it was dam or 92 work, whatever. Is there any funding there, extra funding that they send you because of how much more traffic has been put on that road?
So you, from the DOT, so you approved, I believe it was in January of 2025, to detour agreements that the Iowa DOT submitted to us, and in that was what they call a gas tax formula for payments to the county for damages based off the duration of the detour and the traffic count. I do not know what those numbers are offhand, but we have received those payments. but I don't remember offhand, and I can get you those if you're interested. But we have received those damage and those gas tax formula payments for the detour. With that said, in a couple weeks, I'm on a statewide committee meeting with Iowa DOT, local systems, and DOT administration to recommend changes to that. Because of some, and I quickly volunteered for that committee due to some of the challenges that we've faced in Marion County. Because detours are very limited with the lake and the river, obviously. But then also gravel road detours and haul routes have become a major issue, and we're gonna be discussing those things on upcoming. Does that answer your question?
Appreciate it.
FY 28 also drive, you guys have been made aware of that project. That's a kind of a joint effort with County Conservation and Secondary Roads to get federal flat dollars for improvements to Fillmore Drive north of 28 to the East Robert Creek Campground. I'll move on. In June this year, I'll be applying for a grant to pave shoulders on Highway 217 from Highway 92 to the, let's call it the south end of Elevator Road to 228th place. I'll apply for that in June. It's currently programmed for 29. But that will be contingent upon where the Iowa DOT is at with their Highway 14 corridor road. And then I believe this week I sent you all an email with a denial letter essentially for community project funding for Highway S71. As of right now, that project's probably going to be scratched from the 5-year program or delayed, which then bumps another project. However, if we bump another project, that's G76, which is kind of tied to that grant I'm applying for that I told you about earlier. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do there, but we have some time to think about that. Next year we'll reevaluate. And then one other, I did include another community project fund project in the later years of the 5-year program, because we have no other way of funding the Highway G76 corridor in its entirety. That's roughly 16 miles from Attica or Highway 5 to Warren County. That's a very long corridor. It's already beyond its useful life, and now we're putting it at the end of our 5-year program. So just trying to look ahead on how can we do that project. Fortunately, it's one of our lower volume paved corridors in the county. But nonetheless, that's not one that we want to neglect. But currently we cannot fund that project in its entirety with allocated funds. So hopefully there's grant opportunities there through community project funding in the future. Do you have any questions about any of those other projects? There are a lot of little local bridges in there that we'll be looking at a variety of options for, whether that's tank cars, slab bridges, bridge replacements of another kind. There are some new bridge standards coming out that we'll be looking into to see if those are options for us. Those things are fairly common. Those are all listed here on the maps and in the 5-year program. If you have questions about any of those, I'd be happy to answer those.
I don't have.
Otherwise, that is my.
Jim or Steve, do you have any questions for Tyler?
And all those local
Nope.
bridges are gravel roads. So all the paved road bridges we discussed.
Nope, I think Tyler gave a very thorough discussion.
We appreciate your dedication. This just shows again how difficult being a county engineer can be. There's a lot to it. So
Yeah, and just for clarity, this is all outside of our secondary road budget, with the exception of $500,000 of local money, which comes from our operating budget. All that 40-some million, the bulk of that is grant or outside sources from state or federal.
Steve, do you have anything?
No, appreciate everything you do, Tyler.
Thank you.
Entertain motion for resolution 2020.
Move to approve resolution 2026-48.
Support.
McCombs.
Aye.
Mueller,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye. Item number 9 is resolution 2026-60. This is the Marion County 26-27 Bridge Consultant Agreement. Tyler.
Yeah, so I asked Andrew Putz with Kirk and Michael to get us another consultant. This is very similar to the past. I asked Andrew to get this to us because we still have items, call it items E and F on page 2. Those are still ongoing projects that we have with Kirk and Michael. And they're requirements for us to get the updates done per federal requirement. So we have some ongoing projects, and due to kind of continuity there, I would prefer to continue with Kirk and Michael. They've done an excellent job for us. You will see in this that there's a lot of hourly rate items. Let's say we have a large oversized or overweight load permit we need review for. Kirk and Michael have been extremely responsive to those in helping us do a bridge evaluation and get that analysis done. In general, I'm budgeting $30,000 to $35,000 per year lately. We would like that to be around 20 to 25, but because of some of the special projects that we've had ongoing to meet federal requirements, we've had to budget more in recent years. And that's no different for the upcoming cycle. But you will see kind of the baseline 2026 routine inspections, 2027 routine inspections. We're going to be around $19,000 to $20,000 there for our routine inspections. And then so that includes the routine inspections and the minor bridges. The minor bridges are bridges that the Fed's FHWA does not consider a bridge. So a bridge that's 20 feet 5 inches is a bridge in their eyes, but a bridge that's 19 foot 8 inches is not. We still have all those small bridges inspected with our inspector, do the same due diligence, and that costs us roughly, $600 to $1,200, couple $1,000 extra in a cycle to review those additional, I think, 19 bridges. 19 structures, let's call it that. All in item D on at the bottom of first page, that's probably something we need to talk about in the future. That's the Harvey Island Bridge. It is on a level B dirt road, posted at 3 ton. So no ag equipment is utilizing this bridge. The level B turns into a level C. And ag equipment is all accessing via an alternate route currently. And as you can see here, we're going to spend $2,900 per year because of that bridge age and type. It's on a 12-month cycle, so it gets inspected every single year. We're spending almost $3,000 a year in inspection for a bridge that sees probably 20 vehicles. So that's probably something we want to talk about in the future, and I can put something together to that effect.
I do think
There are some other zoning issues there that we.
Yeah, I was just gonna add, I think that there might be some people that, would have to. Notification and things like that. So,
Yeah, I mean, it would be.
Is that on the historic register?
Don't
you
know.
have to-
I'd have to check. Not to my knowledge, dude.
I believe majority, well, it's completely floodplain though and not buildable to determine.
Yeah. There are some issues there, and challenges.
But you're right, $2,500.
Whether it's on a historic registry or not, we would just be closing it to vehicular traffic.
I guess.
And I'd have to discuss with Andrew if that would take this inspection from 3,000 to 200 if we closed it to vehicular traffic.
That's what I was just gonna ask, if you made it just a walking
Yes.
type bridge.
Right, would it change our inspection type? That's something honestly, I just looked at that this morning and kind of had these thoughts.
Okay.
And then also item E there is the T-17 bridge. underwater inspection, which we do occasionally. Last couple years that they've done underwater inspection on the piers of T-17 Wind River Bridge, they've been able to do it without divers because the water's been low enough. Overall, Kirk and Michael provides a great service. We've been extremely happy with them, and they're very competitive. And I would recommend approval of this agreement.
Well, just so everybody knows, for everybody's information, we're required by law to carry on these inspections.
Yes.
And it has to be somebody that's certified to be able to do a bridge result for that appeals.
Yes, and because most counties have gotten away from doing bridge inspections themselves due to just the complications and ongoing training certifications and nuances, which seem to be changing almost yearly anymore.
Well, and somebody else is signing off on it, then that helps with, versus liability. Yeah. All right, Jim, Steve, do you have any further questions? If not, entertain a motion for resolution 2026.
Move to approve resolution 2026-60.
Second,
Mueller,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
aye.
Thank you.
Item number 10 is resolution 2026-61. This is Junction 9 Treatment Junior Office Building Project. Change order number 1. All right.
We're digging footings today and we already have a change order. That's usually a bad thing.
I was like, let's make a change order.
But however, this is a result of the value engineering proposal that we requested from RG Construction. Chris had some Chris had some suggestions, as well as did we, for the contractor to consider. He reviewed those and spent some time doing that, and as a result of that, it did result in savings. They had some time in reviewing that, and it also delayed the manufacturing of the trusses. So as part of this, there is a 10 working day add, but I think that is valid. Probably more than a 10 working day delay, as we went back and forth with them and their manufacturers and suppliers to get kind of the project intent, but also a $46,672 savings. So I think that's roughly, I think what I said was roughly a 7% overall project savings. And so I think that's fantastic for us, and to still get the same quality of product.
Appreciate that. Any questions? If not, entertain a motion.
Move approval resolution 2026-61.
Support.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Mueller,
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Item number 11, Board of Supervisors updates. Mr. Mueller, do you have any updates?
I have nothing at this time.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McCombs.
I have nothing.
I just have a few, just want to remind insurance renewal meetings for tomorrow. I hope that you've all signed up. And there's several meetings throughout the day. Also tomorrow evening at Pleasantville Memorial Hall, it's a Marion County and Warren County IEDA presentation. That's at 6 p.m. Plan to attend that. Tonight is Mr. Nealand, our economic development, is doing the pitch competition at Central College at Maytag Student Center at 6 p.m. Also plan to attend that. So would also like the public to know those events. You're more than happy to join. I will be there, and allow us to see your face. So tomorrow, employees, love to see you guys at the insurance renewal. Other than that, I can't motion to adjourn.
Move adjourn.
I'll support.
McCombs,
Aye.
Mueller,
Aye.
Johnner.
I did open that. Thank you, everyone.